This is Gabriela on the scene today with Talk Network Radio. We have a real treat for you just around the corner, and that is Empowered Living with Jeff Byrd. Jeff is the owner of Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and he will be coming to you weekly to teach you more about empowered living. Now, let's join Jeff already in the studio.
Hello and welcome. This is Jeff Byrd with Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and this is Empowered Living. Thank you so much for tuning in today and joining us here. We have something very special for you today. We have a special guest who's joining us by phone, and his name is Dennis LaRue Jr. He is the founder of LDR, which stands for Leaders Develop Relationships. He's been involved in leadership transformation around the world. He's also a veteran of 23 years in the United States Air Force, and he's a colleague of mine as an executive coach on the John Maxwell team. So thank you so much for joining us today, Dennis.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's such a privilege to be here with you and with your audience. And you know, we're John Maxwell team colleagues, so our whole focus is adding value. And that is my goal today, being with you, is just to add value to your audience and impact, be a positive influence in any way I can.
Well, I sure appreciate that, and I know you've got some great things to share with us, and you've got a great story coming up and a great topic. The topic for today is the law of navigation, which says anyone can fly the jet, but it takes a leader to chart the course. Now, that's a curious title, and I understand why you chose that title for it. But this is a great law, and I want people to know that when we're talking about leaders, we're not just talking about somebody with a position in a corporation. That is certainly has the potential for being a leader, but we're talking about anybody, anywhere that is having an influence on anyone, themselves included. We have to lead ourselves well from the moment we open our eyes in the morning till the moment our heads hit the pillow and we close them again at the end of the day. So don't think that because you're not a leader in a company that this doesn't apply to you. This is going to apply to everybody who's tuning in and joining us. And Dennis, I tell you, I'm excited to hear what you have to say. I know you got this great story, and you're going to explain more about why your title includes flying a jet. But I want to jump right in and just let you kind of explain to us how this story came to be and what it is, and some of the really unique leadership lessons and takeaways that you gained from this very, very unique experience. So I'm gonna turn the mic over to you and let you take it away.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jeffrey. And well, you know, you just heard that I'm a 23-year veteran of the United States Air Force. So naturally, like my mom, my mom automatically assumed because I was in the Air Force that I was a pilot. Well, there's more than just pilots in the United States Air Force. And actually, my career, I was enlisted. So enlisted people generally don't get to fly in the aircraft, particularly jets. So I want to lay that groundwork out for you because, just as Jeffrey just said, whether you're a CEO and have a position or, you know, it's all about self-leadership, or you're just the low man on the totem pole, so that you have influence and you are a leader. And the law of navigation says that anyone can fly the jet, but it takes a leader to chart the course. Now I told you that I was not a pilot in the United States Air Force. But what I'm about to tell you is there was one time I got to take the stick and flew in an F-16 and actually flew an F-16 one time. And that's the story I want to share with you because I meet many people from my Air Force career who have never, ever, ever flown in a jet aircraft. And they dream of being in an F-16 and F-16 or one of those supersonic G-force jets that are out there. And I got the privilege. I won a special award on my base that I was stationed at the time. And that award allowed me, for winning that award, I was given the privilege of flying in an F-16. And I was put on a list with a bunch of other winners. And it just so happened that I was moving from that base to another base, and they had to move me up to the top of the list. And so that way I was able to fly in an F-16. And, of course, I got to pick the aircraft I flew in. And at that time, we had F-16, C-130, and A-10 aircraft. A-10s were one-seater, so I could fly in the A-10. So you tell me, if you had the chance to fly in an F-16 or a cargo C-130, which would you pick?
Yeah, no choice there. F-16 all day long.
Say every day, F-16. So that was my choice. So going through this process, I was notified in less than a week that the next week I'm flying in an F-16. Now, pilot training for any type of aircraft literally takes years. You go to different bases, you fly in simulators, you do all kinds of training in order for that day where you get to stick yourself and actually fly that jet yourself. So I've got 1 week to just I'm training to be a passenger in this F-16. Now, at this time, I didn't know I was going to take the stick, so I need to let you know that right now. Going into this, I thought I was just, kind of like American Airlines. You get your ticket, you get in, you sit in the seat, you enjoy the ride, you land, and there you go. You're at your destination. No, that's what I was expecting in this experience. But what I found out is I had to go through a series of briefings and trainings and all kinds of different understandings of the entire process, not only just being in the jet, but all the preparation that goes into flying the jet. And the first briefing that I remember going to was a mission briefing. I see everything. If you're in business, those of you that are in business, those of you that are running organizations, get what a mission statement is. You understand that there's a vision and then there's a specific mission that you've got to accomplish. And that there are steps and processes you've got to go through each day to accomplish that mission. We would call them the fundamentals, the basics that you need to do every day that lead to accomplishing that mission. Well, in the case of flying this jet, this aircraft, because I was moved up so quickly to get into this aircraft, normally it would have been a joyride. They put me in a jet, they try to make me throw up and pass out, a good time, and we land the plane. But in this case, I was actually going on a training mission run with a wingman. We had a wingman with us, and I was going on an actual mission. So I had to understand the mission that we were going on. Now, I didn't know anything about an aircraft. I didn't know anything about a mission. I didn't know anything about the scopes and all the different things that are involved in the jet. So the number one main point about the law of navigation is the leader has to know the way. Now, if anybody can fly the jet, but it takes the leader to chart the course, then the leader has to know the way. If I were going to fly the aircraft that day, I didn't know where I was going, where we were flying to, how we were getting there. I didn't know north, west, south, and east. All I knew was that's the sky and that's the ground and that's it.
Right.
That's it. And then I was in the back seat and I didn't know what to expect. So I had to be in on the actual mission. The mission briefing sitting there, a picture for a minute, Top Gun, one of my favorite movies. And they're in the main mission briefing and they're hearing about the different bogies, the targets, where they were flying to, over the Indian Ocean and so on and so forth. And everybody is in the room together. I was in a room just like that, getting a mission brief.
Wow.
And as they were briefing, they pointed out all the different things we were going at. We had a kind of a manual with us to follow along. I didn't know what I was looking at, but the pilot that I was flying with did. And so I watched as we went through the briefing and understood the flight plan. And we had to make sure that our mission objective was clear, and it was made clear to the team because we were flying with a wingman. So we had to make sure that we understood who the wingman was, who was the lead, who was the wingman, where we were going, what was the objective. So if I were flying that jet that day, I didn't know the way. Leaders know the way. But not only did leaders have to know the way, there was another thing we had to do. In 1 week, I had to also prepare for anything and everything that could possibly happen while we were on the ground, in the air, and also pursuing our mission objective, which anyone can fly the jet, but leaders practice and prepare. This is something that my pilot did every single time. Every pilot that I ever met, they went through the same routine. And in my preparation, I had to learn some things that they already knew. I had to learn about a parachute. Talk about an act of faith and trust.
Oh, right.
The folks that prepare and sew and put and pack your parachute are some of your best friends. You bring them donuts. You want to make sure that they're well taken care of because it's a 50-50 shot. You want it to be 100%. If the jet's got to go down and you've got to bail, you want to make sure that chute is full. So I had to learn how to actually eject out of the aircraft, what that felt like, and also wear a parachute and what that felt like, and also how to actually navigate the parachute while I was in the air, because where I was flying, I found out was the Okefenokee Swamp.
Oh, my.
So if the jet's going down there, oh, my. Now you not only need to understand how that works, you need to understand also how to call for help, signal for help, and you also need to understand the terrain if you land. What are the obvious possible dangers? What do you do if you're in the water? What if you land in the tree? So now you've got to navigate all of these fundamentals. You need to also understand if the jet gets into trouble. You got to go through the system checks and the pre-boarding checks and everything. I see a lot of backpacks with remove before flight. Those are actual tags that are on aircraft to remind you to take those off before you fly. It's part of that fundamental responsibility of the pilot to make sure after the crew has gone through and checked everything that they also double check behind the crew chief to make sure that all of those little things are attended to. Because as you know, as leaders, it's not the big thing that surprises us. That the big thing may surprise you one time, but it's all the little things that you neglect are the reason why the big things happen. It's the same thing here. Leaders practice, they prepare, and they know what to do in case of trouble. And they go through the same preparation and practice every single time. I can hear a movie quote. I think I even heard Coach Lou Holt say this. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And that's exactly what you need when you're dealing with $1 billion debt.
No
perfect
doubt.
practice. So leaders know the way. Leaders practice and prepare. But you know what else? Here's the opportunity of a lifetime. Now the jet has taken off. We are in the jet. We have saluted smartly to the deck manager. The aircraft controller has saluted us. We are cleared for takeoff. The tower has cleared us for takeoff. And we are zipping down the runway. We're up in the air. And as we're up in the air, I'm remembering the things that were taught to me. The pilot then says, hey, here's what I want you to do. You're going to actually be my navigator. I'm going to teach you to look for the target. You're going to let us know the targets we're looking for. And when the last target is hit, you're going to let everybody know that the last target is hit and we've accomplished our mission. What an opportunity. And I was scared to death. But he took me through the process and he taught me how to read the scope and how to look at the ground and read it properly and where we were at, the coordinates and all of those things. And so I'm going through this as a part of a mission sortie, as we call it. It's a training sortie. And I get to, I can still remember saying, oh, there's our target, and pointing out where the target is on the scope. He knew where it was, boom, took it out. Simulated taking it out, by the way. We didn't fire any actual live rounds at all. And we did that throughout the entire process. Wingman's there the whole time. And I get to say, all right, we took out our last bogey. That's the mission accomplished. Pilot then calls back to the tower, lets them know that mission's accomplished. We've accomplished our mission 100%. And so he trained me. So the third point in this is, as he trained me, he then takes time when we were done to say, okay, we've got some time left. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to show you how to take the stick. You're going to take the stick and you're going to fly this $1 billion jet. So he shows me, moving the stick up, moving the stick down, moving it left, moving it right, what that felt like. You get the feel for it.